So we got to talk about something today that is definitely very interesting within the realm of news and rumors. And if you know anything about video game news and rumors and what I like to cover on this channel, I like it like I like my women. Spicy, hot, and maybe Latina. Or white or black, Asian. Look, honestly, I love all flavors of women. So, as long as they're hot and spicy, like, I'm good. I'm good. But when it comes to this news, it obviously has to do with PlayStation. Now, PlayStation is, of course, doing a Sony State of Play tomorrow, depending on when you're watching this video, Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Now, this event is going to be 60 plus minutes long, and there's been lots of rumors and speculation about what's going to be there. Supposedly, Devil May Cry 6 is going to be unveiled there. There's the potential for the third game in the Final Fantasy VII Remake trilogy, so expectations are pretty high. Now, when it comes to first-party Sony stuff, it seems like Wolverine isn't going to be there, which is kind of odd, but maybe they have something new to show off that could be potentially coming out in 2026. And that's where we get into the meat of today's story, because allegedly a very popular Sony IP is going to be having a spin-off title at this event. And what's more, it might actually not just be a PS5 exclusive, and I think there is a lot to talk about with that. So if this is your first time on the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button. But let's talk about this, because if this comes to fruition, it's going to be a very interesting day on the internet tomorrow, and I, for one, cannot wait. So the franchise and the game in question is God of War. Now, God of War has undergone really a massive transformation. It used to be, a fast-paced 3D, almost like a beat-em-up game, brawler action adventure game with lots of crazy stuff and, over-the-top violence and boobs and sex mini games and stuff like that. But as Kratos, whatever you want to call him, dude, I call him Kratos because I am weird and I don't think that's right, but you can't teach an old dog new tricks. But he's obviously gotten older in his age. He's calmed down a bit. He's not out there banging anything that moves. And now he's a dad. So now we have the Dad of War arc and stuff like that. And I still enjoy it, but I do kind of miss the old attitude and the old sort of feeling that the games had. I honestly feel like there's room for both of these. Now, supposedly, there's been a 2D God of War game that has been in the works for a very, very long time. This is something that's popped up multiple times, pretty much all over the place. Essentially, the style of the game and the feeling and flavor of the game is a Prince of Persia or a Metroidvania style game, in which obviously we don't know what sort of art style it will be using, but it's an exploration based game, kind of taking it back to the older times of the God of War sort of storyline and stuff like that. I gotta be honest with you, I'm not really tapped into the God of War storyline like that, but I do know that it is supposed to be earlier times, pre-dad times, pre-old man times, so you might get a little bit more agility out of the character. Now, there's lots of speculation and rumors that this is actually going to finally be shown tomorrow at the Sony State of Play. And I mean, I think that makes sense. If it's ready to go, if it's nearing completion, this is a game that obviously will get people excited. Now, it's not a full-scale God of War in the 3D realm or anything like that, but a 2D God of War, I think, makes a lot of sense. I think you can have a lot of fun with it, and I think you could do some character exploration, introduce new characters, new storyline elements, and still retain a sort of God of War feeling with this. Now, some people are saying that this game is going to be releasing tomorrow and it will be a stealth drop. There's some rumors that I've seen online about that. I don't know. Maybe, it would be super cool if it does, but I feel like that's kind of just a little bit of hopium. I feel like this game needs a little bit of promotion. You obviously have to explain things to people, why this is a 2D game, what makes it different than other games, and you could clearly do that at the State of Play presentation, but as far as actually releasing the game, I don't think that will happen, but it will be pretty cool if it does. However, the real story with this is when it comes to platforms, because it seems like there's at least a chance that this is not just going to be a PlayStation 5 console game. Of course, it'll come to PC as well, but it's not just going to be a PlayStation 5 console game. It's also coming to the Nintendo Switch 2. Now, we have to look at the source of this rumor, and you are going to want to crucify me after what I said yesterday about this source, because this is one of the people that's talking about it out in the open, and that is Nash Weedle. Now, RGT, you said that Nash Weedle's reputation is on the line with the Nintendo Direct next week, and yes, it completely is. But according to Nash Weedle, and I can explain this, according to Nash Weedle, there is a chance of this coming to the Nintendo Switch 2. Nate the Hate has commented on this as well. Nate did a follow-up saying basically he had heard rumblings when the game was initially in development that it could be a multi-platform game, but he hasn't heard anything since. Now, obviously, Nate the Hate is, probably one of the most, if not the most accurate leakers out there. So there's at least a very small chance that this was discussed earlier in the development of the game, and maybe that's what Nash Weedle was clinging on to. But where things get very interesting is I've actually heard this, not from Nate, not from anyone you would think I would hear this from, and it was a couple of weeks ago. And this individual was telling me, like, yeah, this is actually coming to Switch 2. It's going to be a PS5 and Switch 2 and PC game. And this person has no reason to lie to me or anything or fabricate something. And so once I kind of factor that in and factor what Nate the Hate said about this being something that was at least discussed initially, I honestly think there's a good chance that this is going to happen. And I know people will be like, well, why would they do this? Why would Sony put a God of War game on a Nintendo platform? That doesn't make any sense. And to that, I will ask you, why would Sony put a Lego Horizon game on the Nintendo Switch? You see, it's not the full Horizon game. It's not a new Horizon game. All it is an offshoot game to introduce people to the IP. This God of War game is not going to be the traditional 3D God of War game. It's an offshoot game, a Metroidvania game, a smaller budget sort of thing. So it's something that if it pops up on the Nintendo Switch 2, now you're introducing people to this IP potentially for the first time or refreshing their memory on something like this. Ever since Lego Horizon Adventures was confirmed to be coming to the Switch and did release on the Switch, I've always felt that there is a window of opportunity for more games to do something like this, especially when we're talking about offshoot games and side stories and smaller sized appetizers to introduce Nintendo people to a Sony franchise and a Sony audience. You have to remember, Sony has gone on record as saying stuff like, kids play Nintendo, and when they grow up, we want them to play PlayStation. And you could get mad at that. You can get angry at that statement. I don't really care because I'm a grown-ass man who plays all platforms, so it doesn't do anything to me. But Sony obviously views the Switch 2 as a potential portal to get people into their own ecosystem. And what better way than to introduce a new 2D God of War Metroidvania game, a genre that is very popular on Nintendo hardware, something that Nintendo fans do enjoy. And, it seems like some come out like every freaking week at this point in time. I do kind of think there is a bit of an oversaturation when it comes to this sort of genre, but you have the God of War IP attached to it. You have a big name attached to it with this. And I could see Nintendo fans being like, well, wait a minute. If we buy this, maybe they'll put Spider-Man on the Switch too. Maybe they'll put some older titles on the system, which, I mean, it would be kind of cool if it does happen. So I'm not saying that this is a foregone conclusion. Do I think this new 2D God of War game is going to be at State of Play tomorrow? I do. And I think if it's not at the State of Play tomorrow, then, like, it doesn't exist. Like, I mean, how can it exist and never make a State of Play presentation? But I do think it's going to be there tomorrow. Will it be announced as a multi-platform title? Maybe not right off of the jump, but I don't think Lego Horizon Adventures was done that way anyways. It was like after the presentation, then it was announced for the Switch 2, or the Switch 1, I should say. So it's going to be interesting tomorrow. I'm actually really looking forward to this presentation. I'm hoping for some surprises. And I think if God of War comes to the Nintendo platforms of system, oh man, the fanboys, dude, you better get some armor, my PlayStation pony brethren, because Nintendo fans are going to be the Nintendo Twitter people, the people that say that the Switch 2 runs games just as good as the PS5, those people. They're going to be coming after you tomorrow. Just stay off Twitter. It's a cesspool of dog shit anyways. Anyways, guys, let me know what you think about all this in the comments section down below. Can you see this happening? Do you think this is a reality? And if so, what will your reaction be? Are you interested in this 2D God of War game? Would you buy it on the PlayStation 5 or the Switch 2 if you own both of them like I do? I mean, obviously, I'd buy it on the Switch 2 because, I mean, that's just morbid curiosity at this point. Like, wow, that's just bizarre to me. And as always, guys, thank you for checking out this video. Be sure to share it with your friends and your enemies. Hit that like button. Do some sort of interaction in the comments section down below. And as always, I'll catch you guys on the next video. Later.